See how you respond and feel to that. I'm the liberator of me because I stopped letting yesterday narrate my now. I cut away the mind binds of old scripts, broke the loops that tried to leash me, to leash my instinct, and rose of clarity that only awareness delivers to me. Liberation is never something I chase, it's the frequency I choose to flow through life with. Wisdom meets me when I stop performing. Inspiration ignites when I stop explaining. Clarity arrives the moment I stand sovereign in my own witnessing and observing my life. Why am I the liberator of me? Unbinds my mind and unwinds my prime time trailblazer imagination. I am the liberator of me that snaps the mind's leash and frees your instinct to lead you through life with ease. The moment you claim yourself as your own liberator, the mind loses its authority to narrate your limits. That break in the script is what unleashes your trailblazer imagination. The part of you that creates instead of complies. It unbinds the mind because it shifts you from thinking to perceiving with a far-seeing prowess. Thinking loops, perceiving opens. When you stand as your own liberator, you stop recycling yesterday's logic and instantly tap the raw, unfiltered wisdom that fuels your visionary imagination. It unwinds your prime time imagination by removing the gatekeeper. The mind guards the past. Liberation energizes your expansion. When you declare, I am the liberator of me, the gate swings open and your sovereign, inventive, wild range imagination gets to run free through your life and open up your Broadway show within you. Now, the difference between liberator and healer. A healer works inside the wound. A liberator dissolves the walls that made the wound a home. A healer restores what was hurt. A liberator removes the identity that kept the hurt alive. Healing soothes the pain as liberation shatters the story that kept you small. One mends the surface, the other frees the source. While liberation shuts off the noise of change, heal, create, and transformation. Change, heal, create, and transformation are all mind-made projects. Self-improvement that loops, that keeps you busy, yet never liberates you. Liberation slices through the whole illusion and returns you to clarity beneath the noise. See, all your innovative wisdom and intuition imagination is below the noise, and it opens up your natural optimism. Liberation dissolves the identity that needs healing, changing, or transforming. The mind clings to the broken me so it can stay in control. I'm going to repeat that for you. The mind clings to a broken me so it can stay in control. Liberation exposes that story as fiction, and when the story collapses, the noise collapses with it. What remains is clean awareness, never a project. Liberation frees your energy from the treadmill of becoming and drops you into the perception prowess of being who you desire to be. Change, heal, create, transformation all demand effort. Liberation demands presence. When you stop chasing upgrades, your energy stops scattering, and your sovereign clarity finally breathes cosmic circulation. As my breath is cosmic circulation, of my living current that moves through me as awareness is a universal flow that clears the mind's clutter, energizes my frequencies, and connects me to the infinite liberation. Wisdom, inspiration, clarity pulsing through every moment allows me to awaken to be of the here and now. Why expand, energize, enterprise experience, and liberation nixes the fix in me of self-help, personal growth, self-improvement, punctuated writings, and therapy. Expand, energize, enterprise, experience, and liberation nix fix me because they operate beyond the mind that invented the problem. So your mind invents the problem, and then you're trying to use the mind to get out of it so it gets it deepens the invented part. Self-help and therapy try to repair the identity the mind created. Liberation never repairs, it releases. When you rise of experience, expand, the whole broken me narrative collapses and the mind loses its job as your mechanic. These frequencies bypass the mental maze and drop you straight into awareness, where nothing needs improvement, only expression. Self-improvement loops keeps you chasing upgrades. Energize and enterprise. Flip the script. You stop upgrading the old self and unleashing your sovereign valor. The shift alone dissolves the entire fix me industry. Liberation frees your instinctual clairvoyance as self-help tries to tame with steps, scripts, and strategies and programs. When you're listening to somebody else's program, you're getting into their programming. When you listen for what expands you, you rise to your own innovation. As warrior wise clarity never heals, it unveils your desired lifestyle. As you expand of your sovereign perception, your energy stops being managed and instantly mobilizes the wise of you. As your trailblazer wakes up and the fixer retires, you light the fire of desire to dance every day, realizing intuition streams, enterprising splendor. Why energetic liberation destroys self-sabotage. Energetic liberation destroys self-sabotage by exposing the mind as the saboteur, never the savior. Self-sabotage only survives when you believe your thoughts are telling the truth. And truth is a fallacy. Because truth has your mindsets and all your beliefs and everything from yesterday into today. Liberation flips the lights on. You see the mind's tricks, the loops, the fear scripts, and once seen, they lose all power. It dissolves the identity the self-sabotage feeds on. Self-sabotage needs a small you to attack. Energetic liberation erases that outdated identity and awakens your sovereign awareness of your adventurous wanderer's audacity. When the false self dies, the sabotage dies with it. It frees your energy from the past so your instinct can finally lead. Self-sabotage is yesterday's programming, trying to run today's decisions and choices in your life. Liberation cuts the cord, unleashes clean instinct, and lets your inner trailblazer move without interference, dissolving the noise of the past. And yesterday's sabotage liberates you to be the liberator of you. Why the mind invents drama, trauma, anger, stress, and all the mind's invented weirdness. The mind invents drama, trauma, anger, and stress because it survives on emotional turbulence, destroying clarity. A calm inner world starves the mind, so its favorite fuel is chaos. Huh, I know that one. But you understand, chaos is an awakening. So it manufactures storms to keep itself relevant, loud, and in control. Warrior wise awareness sees the storm as a script, never a signal. The mind creates emotional noise to distract you from your intellectual prowess. Drama and anger pull you into reaction. Stress pulls you into survival. Oh, that it does. Trauma loops pulls you into memory. All three keep you from sovereign clarity that would expose the mind as the imposter running the show. Your mind is an imposter running the show. The mind invents these states because they keep you in yesterday where it holds authority, dissolving the now. Where awareness leads, you're liberating, enterprising, adventurous, uh, discernment streaming today's blessings. Drama is past based, trauma is past anchored, anger is past triggered, stress is past conditioned. The mind uses them to keep you looping instead of rising. A warrior sees the loop, cuts it, and walks and liberates you to set you free, to chauffeur you through life. Why self-help, personal growth, and self-improvement never liberate you from mind-invented sabotage. Self-help can never liberate you because it treats sabotage as a problem to fix instead of a fiction the mind invented. The mind creates the sabotage, then sells you the solution. Self-help keeps you repairing the trap instead of walking out of it. That is true. I've witnessed that in my life. Since I've risen of expand, energize, enterprise experience, that all makes sense. I stopped listening to self-help, personal growth, self-improvement 2009, but I'm really starting to learn when somebody says think and know in their writings, you're going to go into the past. Liberation ends the whole game by exposing the saboteur as thought, never authenticity. Personal growth fails because it upgrades the identity that sabotage feeds on. The better me is still the mind-made me, and the one sabotage was designed to control. Growth polishes the cage, liberation dissolves the cage, and the character who thought they lived in it. Self-improvement never frees you because it keeps you chasing fixes instead of accessing your awakened, aware daredevilry sets you free. The mind loves improvement because it keeps you busy, striving, and distracted. Liberation cuts the cord, drops you onto your present moment experiences, and ends the mind's ability to run sabotage as a script. When awareness leaves, sabotage instantly dissolves. Why am I the liberator of me destroys mind-invented sabotage? I am the liberator of me destroying sabotage because it removes the mind's authority to define me and define you. Sabotage only survives when the mind gets to narrate your limits. Sabotage only survives when the mind gets to narrate your limits. The moment you stand as your liberator, the mind loses its throne, and the sabotage it invented collapses like a script with no actor left to play the part. See, that's the thing. The mind invented stuff. You're the actor playing the part. You're not the innovator expanding through life. Liberation dissolves the identity sabotage feeds on. Sabotage needs a small you, a doubtful conditioning within you. When you declare yourself the liberator, that outdated identity evaporates. And I can witness that in my own life. Ever since I've been saying, I am the liberator of me, sets me free, unbind the mind, unwind. My divine daredevilry sets me free. When you declare yourself the liberator, that outdated identity evaporates. No identity, zero targets. Sabotage has zilch left to attack. Actually, sabotage is a self-attack. So is trauma, drama, and all that. Warrior-wise liberation shifts, rises you from thinking to awareness. Warrior-wise liberation rises you from thinking to awareness, and sabotage can never operate inside awareness. Sabotage is a thought loop. Awareness is a frequency. When you rise of awareness, that loop breaks the noise, and the noise dies. As your instinctual clarity shows you the way to your promised land. That's when the warrior walks free. That warrior is you. Why I am the liberator of me rises me of energized listening, maverick questions, energized hearkened wisdom that destroys invented mind, thinking, knowing, learning, knowledge, and thoughts. Inspiration is spiritual. Thoughts drain the brain. I am the liberator of me rises you into the energized listening because it silences the mind's counterfeit commentary. The mind is all self-talk is pretty much counterfeit commentary, and you're never going to get to a positive mind inner dialogue. You can get into an inspiration, but never a positive, because positive is mind made. Energized listening is never hearing, it's perceiving without the mind's filters. When you stand as your own liberator, the mind loses its authority to interrupt your nowality. I use nowality instead of reality because reality's got your mindsets and past beliefs and everything in. Nowality is right here. It's here. The mind loses its authority to interrupt reality, and its invented thinking, knowing, learning, knowledge collapse. What remains is pure, unmediated, awakened awareness. Maverick questions ignite because liberation frees you from the mind's pre-approved answers. That's what education desires, is pre-approved answers. The mind only asks questions it can control. A liberator asks questions that detonate the mind's illusions. That's something I really awakened to today, is you got to ask questions that make your comfort zone programming go, huh? You got to get away from that comfort zone programming because that's what the world is stuck in, and it's obedient living. Maverick questions expose the artificial nature of thoughts, beliefs, and knowledge, leaving the mind with nothing to defend and nowhere to hide. Energized, hearken, and wisdom awakens because liberation rises you from mental noise to instinctual clarity. The mind invents thoughts to maintain its throne. Hearken wisdom bypasses that entire empire and its direct, sovereign, and untamed, trend-setting thrill skills. As you rise, the liberator of you, the mind's inventive knowing dissolves the mind invented mind binds and awakens your raw trailblazer wisdom that chauffeurs you through life with ease. Why people today are still stuck in ancestor mind invented programming. People stay stuck because the ancestor mind runs on repetition, never realization, and present moment mastery. The mind copies what came before: fears, habits, reactions, survival scripts. Most people never question the source, so they keep performing inherited patterns as if they're personal truths, other personal truths. And truth it has a lot of fallacy to it, but authenticity makes it. You understand now. As your warrior wise awareness sees the repetition and cuts the lineage loop of your ancestor programming, as ancestor programming survives because it hides inside normal. Drama, stress, anger, worry, conformity all pass down as standard operating procedures. As something feels familiar, people assume it's them, never a hand-me-down mindset. That's what the world has, is hand-me-down mindsets. I have one, but I don't use the word mindset. I'm always liberating and expanding of something. Liberators see the familiarity as the trap, never the truth. People stay trapped because they trust thinking over awareness. Oh, yeah. I'm just expanding. Yeah, that one's a very honored thing. And a lot of people think they're not, but they are. Ancestor programming lives in thought, the mind's recycled archives. Awareness lives of the now, clean, instinctual, sovereign splendor. Most people never shift from thinking to perceiving. So the old programming keeps running the show. Yes, it does. But the more I awaken to liberation, the more the show goes away because I get chauffeured through life with my canny celebrations. A warrior rise is the moment you stop believing the mind's inheritance. Why indoctrinated education, PhD programming, and ancestor survival mode programming create the mind invented manipulation today. Indoctrinated education, PhD programming, and ancestor survival mode conditioning engineered today's mind invented manipulation by training humans to trust inherited narratives such as school, teachers, parents, and all that over direct perception. They built minds that obey authority, worship information, and fear deviation. Minds that confuse the memorized knowledge with truth, conformity with safety, and repetition with intelligence. This is how manipulation became self operating. The mind defends the very programming that limits it. Mistaken ancient fear and institutional conditioning for personal identity. Liberation begins the moment you see the manipulation as manufactured and never your authentic self or sovereignty. Why I am the liberator of me unleashes energetic liberation, energized listening, maverick questions, hearkened wisdom, autonomous expansion, politically incorrect inspiration, cowboy wisdom, outlaw optimism, liberating lingo, expressing your revolutionary revelations, liberating you now and forevermore. I am the liberator of me, detonates the mind's authority and unleashes energetic liberation the moment you claim yourself as your own, as your divine liberator. The mind's invented limits lose their power. Energetic liberation rises because zilch stands between you and your raw sovereign awareness. And if you really open up and use sovereign instead of self, you'll be surprised what that does, how that liberates you. It activates energized listening, the perception beneath thought. Energized listening is hearkening without the mind's commentary. When you stand as your own liberator, the noise collapses and the signal becomes clear and clean, celebrating life. You never listen to thoughts, you listen through them. I'm going to repeat that. You don't listen to thoughts, you listen through them. But however, if you listen through revelations, you liberate yourself. Maverick questions ignite because liberation frees you from your inherited answers. And that's all the school system is inherited answers. A liberated mind never recycles yesterday's logic, but it's really a liberated, innovative, witted grit, get and go, never recycles yesterday's logic. It asks questions that expose illusion, disrupt programming, and unveils your adventurous authenticity. Maverick questions are the warrior's blade, sharp, fearless, and untamed, that cuts through the BS of yesterday. As hearkened wisdom and autonomous expansion rise out of the invented mind, as you stop seeking permission to understand, perceive, and be aware of your life. Hearkened wisdom is instinctual clarity, the knowing that never doesn't need learning. It's really about understanding the wisdom and never knowing. Autonomous expansion is the natural result. You expand from the presence, never the pressure. Liberation removes the gatekeeper and lets your inner frontier open up to your open range of revolutionary audacity. Politically incorrect inspiration, cowboy wisdom, outlaw optimism, liberating lingo, and revolutionary revelations erupt because you stop performing and instantly expressing your liberating lingo, to stop editing your authenticity to fit in the world. Your lingo becomes alive as your inspiration becomes dangerous. Your optimism becomes an outlaw level as your revelation becomes revolutionary, liberating you now and forevermore. While I'm the liberator of me, bypasses my invented mind binds, liberating my sovereign valor. I am the liberator of me that bypasses my invented mind binds because it rises me out of the mind's illusions and drops me onto my beaches of bountiful bliss, expressing sovereign valor, raw, unborrowed courage that never negotiates with fear, doubt, or inherited programming. The mind can only bind what you believe. Liberation dissolves belief and unleashes perception. As you stand as your own liberator, the mind loses its grip. The binds lose their story, and your sovereign valor rises, unchallenged, unedited, and unstoppable. But if you wake up in the morning and say throughout the day a couple times, I am the liberator of me, set you free to feel robust, evidence-prizing elegance dance through your veins of fame. And I want to thank you. I'm Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Podcast. Thank you and good night.